Hello.
Hello.
We're here to sort of hear from Miss Daniella here, who had an amazing month and still having an amazing month. And we wanted to talk a little bit about the Money Makeover
Mhm.
program. It's been renamed, previously Healing with Money. And I just wanted to ask you some questions about your experience and some of the results that you had during the program.
Sure.
But let's start with, um, why did you sign up for it? Like, what made you
Mm.
want to sign up? What was the thing that um, made that decision for you?
Well, the reality is that I actually had been seeing your posts for a while, and it was really striking for me that whenever I read your posts, I felt like I was thinking in a new way that was brand spanking new, but also familiar. And I didn't really know what to make of it, and it was a little bit scary seeing something new, and really striking that of all the Facebook posts that you see, there was something that you wrote, the words made sense, but yet something felt different. And you and I later talked about that, and you said, well, when it feels right, it's almost as if you remember it. It's like you're remembering something that you actually do know. And so that was my experience of you. And then when we spoke, it became very clear that there was something in me that needed to absolutely change because I was seeing results, but and seeing, good results in my business. I had a nice year last year, but it was not nearly at the level that I wanted or expected of myself.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like really looking at, yeah, things are going okay, but are they going the way that I want them to be really, right?
Yeah, exactly. Things they were going okay. They were definitely improving. I I saw the improvement as great, obviously, but I couldn't it didn't seem sustainable. I didn't see where it was going. I didn't see how things were going to change. The only thing I could actually see was that if I went at the rate I was going, it would be really, really hard to make the kind of money that would seem appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that wasn't necessarily the case, but I just didn't see another way.
Right, right. So why do you think it was the right decision for you to sign up for the Money Will Makeover program?
Well, immediately it actually felt right to be, on the calls with you and seeing what you said and hearing hearing what you have to say. It felt like there was um, a whole new truth, which is what you talk about a lot, a whole new truth of what was possible. And that sounds very airy fairy, but the reality is that I started to show up as a mentor, as someone who was like in my truth, as someone who knew without a shadow of a doubt what the value of my coaching is and what the value would be for that person. And it was like almost like overnight. I heard myself on these calls and I was like, oh, I want to hire that woman. She knows what she's talking about.
Right. It's
And
almost
it,
like, yeah, that experience is a lot of fun, right? Like when you're like,
yeah,
wow, did I say that? Did I?
yeah, yeah. And it was like, I would, it, the, the non necessarily monetary benefit, which is so huge, is that it feels like I can finally have permission to say the things that I feel the need to say, to and in support and service of my clients.
Right.
For some reason, I felt like I had to be nice or not say the appropriate thing, and I see now working with you that that is completely out of not in service to them, and it's not in service to myself, and it doesn't work. And so that by saying the thing that needs to be said from what I actually see is the value. That's really the value.
Yeah. How crazy do you think it is that out of money program you got this type of awarenesses?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, and I think about the old name or the prior name, like healing
Healing
with
with
money
money,
and
yeah.
healing with money energy, and it's a funny name, but I would think back to it a lot. Like this is actually what's happening, and this is so deep, and this is like therapy. It's like, but better that it actually I am allowed to become the person that I like in all parts of my life, a better person, because I'm using this like really thick, like deep energy around money to use for healing. So yeah, I mean it's crazy, but also like I get it.
Yeah. So, did you understand the importance of this first step, like signing up, the way that you did, and how it affected your results in the program?
I didn't initially, but I felt it, and then it was very clear. Like I had a very immediate emotional response the first time I spoke with you, and then as I signed up, and the way I signed up, and it was clearly a pattern to everything else that I had been doing for myself and the way I was investing, and also more obviously the way people would come to me.
Right.
So
I was gonna ask, and for your
yeah.
clients as well, right?
Oh God. Oh my God. It's so, and it's that much more annoying to see. Because once you see something, you can't unsee it. Of course, that's the point. And I see my prior behavior in my clients, and I'm looking forward to transitioning it so deeply in myself that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that you know this, but how does it feel when you have that awareness at the core of your being? Not like just knowing it mentally or having heard it about it sometime, but actually from the experience of your own transformation that you can then guide your clients. How does that feel?
Mm.
Like, what's the difference between the two? Because I know, like, I used to tell people things that I had heard, but I hadn't experienced yet because I thought that, oh, well, that's what it is, but I hadn't had the experience, and there was a huge difference for me between the two, right? Like the way that I felt about myself, like the way that I knew that I could help someone else, and the integrity that I had was completely different.
It felt so grounded. It felt like at the same time just like steady and certain. And also, when you were asking me that, the first thing that came to my mind was it felt like the lack of a stub toe. You know, like you don't think about what a stub toe feels like until you do, and you're like, ah, that sucks. But on the in between, when it's not stubbed, it's like, how wonderful. Like I didn't feel anything, as opposed to all the stress, all of like the contraction and the discomfort of somebody saying something, or I'm like, oh, they don't like me, they don't see the value, it's not good, and all the response that I would normally have, I didn't. Or if I did, it was like for a split second, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not really true, you know?
How does that change? How does that change your results?
Yeah, well, I signed on 2 clients, which such a coup. I signed on 2 clients who I didn't know before this.
Tell me why that's a big deal, because I think a lot of people may not get why
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I had a story that people had to be in my world for like a year and a half for some reason, you know, and that they had to know me. I had to know them, that there was this know, like, and trust factor, and that took time. And for some reason, I thought it took years. That if someone came into my world, they wouldn't sign up for a long time. So the fact that somebody knew me, knew my work for, I don't know, a month via like Facebook and marketing, and that's it. They never spoke to me before. They never experienced me one-on-one. And upon one phone call, they shared with me, they opened up my eyes as to how ready they were. That they had the experience they had the pain they had, and they were really, really ready. And so when I made the offer, which was something previously I had not focused on and I was always scared to do, when I made the offer, it was yes. It was, wow, this is scary, this is interesting, and underneath that, yes. And right there on the call. Right. So it opened my eyes to how many more people are out there ready. And all I have to do is connect with them and make an offer.
Right.
That's the way I think now, and it's like, yes, totally. You know?
How has that changed the way that you show up on sales in general, in all your sales?
Yeah. Well, I think I show up as a mentor. I think whether they sign on or not, I think I show up as somebody who actually cares whether or not they're getting it, like whether or not they're getting, value and seeing something and getting something that they can walk away with, and that I'm someone that can help them. So I'm showing up with confidence, so much more confidence. And for me, also, one of my stories was that selling previously felt like, or being sold to felt like I was being, as you know, like hunted like prey, like somebody was trying to get me, and I was powerless. And I thought, well, God, what's the opposite of that? The opposite of that would be to feel like you're giving, like you're giving someone all the power in the world and the freedom, and you're helping them. So every time I go into a sales call, when I make the offer, it's like, this is the most generous, empowering thing I can do. And when I have it in my head, I hope and I think that's actually what I'm doing, and to the best of my ability at the time.
Right, right. Why do you think that it felt like that for you before? What was the deal with money that was happening with money that you always felt like you were being hunted or something? Or if you could go even deeper into how that even showed up, how that showed up for you in your decision making, and even the way that you saw in your clients, the way that they were showing up with you, like maybe the same pattern.
Yeah, well, in the decisions that I made, even the way I signed up, it was like, when you made an offer, and I felt like I had already made a decision, and I had a lot of money in my mind for what would be the investment, and then you made an offer, and it was like sooner than I expected, and I felt like money was being taken away from me.
Yeah.
Like it was a powerlessness, and I had lost control. And I think that goes back to feeling like a kid, like really keeping myself as a child who doesn't have any power. And so, and it's not, and kids are very black and white. So like for them, something's right or something's wrong. There's no gray area for kids most of the time. So it was like, you're taking something away from me. That's wrong. It's unjust. And it's going to happen. And that's unfair. It's totally unfair. And I have no power in it. And there's something really, I mean, I'm sure I can go deeper, but at this point, that's what I got. And there's nothing, it doesn't feel good to feel powerless. And that was my immediate reaction, to feel powerless. Like, I have to feel small and powerless and someone's taking something away from me. And that showed up in the way that I signed on. And I had to really think about that or sit with that and also have the opportunity to share that with you,
Right, yeah.
And see that, how can this feel differently? How could this be different? Is this really the truth? And seeing that isn't necessarily the truth, and it doesn't have to be, and I can choose to make it different. So I see that in myself loud and clear. I see that in my clients for sure, in that they will, some prospects and some clients have signed on to like, yes, and then they feel like they've given too much and they need to take it back. I think there's a correlation there, and that was a pattern that I'm seeing or had seen. And hopefully I don't see it anymore, but if I do, I know there's work to be done in me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let me see, what else do I have for you? How has this whole thing, like the program in general, affected your path forward?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's definitely had a really nice effect in that it's made me more excited for my work. Because we had this conversation, I think, in the group, really, where you talk about it too, where if a person feels like, or if I feel like I'm no longer inspired by my business, or I feel burnt out, or I'm not really feeling like the content, the juice of the work is really exciting any longer. And you asked, it was either me or somebody else, well, how would it feel if you brought another, $10,000 or $20,000 into your business this month? How would you feel? And I'll be like, oh, I feel great. I feel fantastic. I feel renewed. I feel rejuvenated. I feel like I had all the energy and the power in the world. And I realized I love this. I love the coaching. I love the actual content of it. And if I ever start to like wane and my energy starts to feel like, oh, I don't really like what I'm doing, it's not because of the actual coaching. I love it.
Yeah.
And so it's become really clear and simple for me that that's what I love. And if I'm feeling low energy, it's probably because I need to get myself right about money and the business.
Right. And bringing more clients.
Yeah, exactly. And bringing more amazing clients. Oh, and by the way, yes, I brought in 2 clients, but there were also 2 incredible clients. And I think an ideal client is not something I considered as much as I do now. I mean, if I'm honest, it was like, I just want to bring anybody who can pay, you know?
Right. And your standards change a lot,
Yeah.
I think, during the program, right? In general.
In general, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I love that. How did you think that you were going to quadruple or more your investment?
No. No. And here's the thing, I didn't think at all. I didn't even allow myself to think. I think that is one of my wounds or one of my stories is that I can't even imagine it. I couldn't even imagine. I didn't want to think about it. I just had this shutdown of like, the money's going away, and that was all I could see.
Right. You can't see it coming back, right?
Exactly.
It's just like, oh, I'm giving it away. And I know that
Right.
feeling. I've had that
Right.
feeling so many times before
Yes.
in the past, right?
And you put it together that it's the same. If I'm thinking that, then that's the way I'm thinking as I'm selling and as I'm enrolling clients. Like, they're going to just see like, oh, I'm giving the money away. Where I have to believe, no. Like, this is true. You're investing, but you're going to get something quadruple or more in return. This is the investment.
And that's when you really see the value of what you're giving out, and you can stand in your prices even when you're hiking them up like crazy.
Yes. That is sinking in. That is definitely sinking in. It's very cool. I mean, it's so funny to see me. Like, I just didn't see. I didn't think about it.
Yeah. So, how do you think it's changed your experience with money in general? Or specifically, however you want to think about the question.
Yeah. Well, with money, I actually can see investments. You know, even the word investment feels true for me. And I trust myself now to, one, be responsible with money. I know what that means now, that I can actually consider money, feel like I'm in control of money, that it's, as you said, a tool, and see when I start to get really emotional, because I still do, of course, and see like, oh, okay, there's something here, and the money itself is completely neutral. It's a tool, and so why not bring in a whole lot more? Right? Why? You know, it's a tool for everything I want. It's a tool for all the things that are good. So let's do more of that. And so I see my triggers. It starts to feel like I can actually envision. Here's the huge difference. I could have never envisioned making as much as I made this month, making as much as I'm going to make at the end of the month and the month after. It was not in my brain. I couldn't see it. And now I see it as like it's there. It hasn't yet, materialized, but it's there. And I believe that. So it's kind of exciting,
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was your whole experience with the content of the program?
Yeah. Well, the content, it was interesting. Each module or each week.
Okay.
Good hygiene into the elbow.
I know, right? I'm like, oh. That's why I like wearing these long sleeves.
That's why.
Well, besides for the coziness of it over here.
Yeah, the content was great. It was actually like it really did start step by step. So it felt like,
Excuse me.
It felt like teaching. It felt like I really needed the basics to understand, because I think and you and I talked about this, like when it comes to speaking with you directly, you might not even realize how wise you are. You might not. And I experienced this because I'm just like, I felt like I was hanging on your every word because I knew it was a new way of thinking and there was information to be had, but it was new. And so I had to really make a point of taking it in. And in the training, you really took us step by step. And I was like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Yes, that makes sense. So each week was both really like laid out information and content that made sense for me. Also it always left me feeling really hopeful. Like, oh yeah, I can do this. This is possible, even though I had never thought that way before. And then having the activity portion of things was
the experiences.
The experiences, the adventures, the scary parts, whatever you want to call them. You know, they were scary. You know, they were really intense, and they still are. I'm still kind of like catching up on a couple of them. Yeah, they were really different. It felt nice to do them, and one, know I had a reason to be doing these crazy things that seemed crazy at the time, and two, a community and you to come back to and be like, guess what I did, you know, and have that was a part of the group that was really great because it didn't feel like I was doing this stuff in a vacuum. Like I had like a whole cheerleading squad saying, go you made this amount of money, you did this risky thing, you know. So it all worked out really nicely.
What about the length of the program?
The length of the program, I wish it was longer.
Did the 4 weeks work though to get you the results to shift your whole experience with money and all this other stuff?
I mean, seriously, I actually saw results in the first 2 weeks, I think. It was maybe 3, you know. Yeah. I felt a shift immediately. I think after 3 weeks I saw results, maybe sooner. It felt complete, and it was actually really surprising. To be honest, I didn't believe that what could happen in a month, especially in a group program. I'm like, all right, I could tell you're good, but like, what's really going to happen in a month? A lot. And that's part of the thing. It's like things have to take a certain amount of time. That's kind of what I believed, and it was surprising how quickly things could shift for me internally. And I think it goes back to when you're hitting on something that's really true for me, but I forgot. It doesn't take long at all to go back to what's true.
Right.
I didn't have to learn anything. I just had to remember that.
Yeah, and that's the whole program. It's all about remembering. It's not about learning because it's all based on the truth.
Yeah. I'm getting that even deeper right now on this call.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I get it deeper every day. It's a practice. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to learn this really cool stuff and then it's done, right? It's really something that happens, and happens and happens,
right?
You know,
right.
over a long period of time. So tell me, what was your, what do you think or feel were your biggest results in the program?
Well, the biggest results were booking calls, getting
more
two
calls
awesome.
Than ever. Have you?
What's that?
How many more calls or?
Right. So numbers. I went from having like, I don't know, maybe 3 discovery calls a week tops to like between 10 and 15 discovery calls or sales calls, whatever they were. And it was like they are becoming fun. Really fun, really interesting, really full of service. And the money is amazing. The 2 clients who are ideal are amazing, who I love working with. That feels incredible. And I have this experience where I'm looking forward to making more sales calls. I'm looking forward to connecting. And I believe that I believe in a different way that my clients are like right there. They're right there. They're out there. They're ready when I'm ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like the full calendar is kind of fun. I look at my calendar every day. I'm like, ooh, I got a lot of calls to make.
Right, right. I know, right? What does this mean for you in the future, you think?
What was that?
What does it mean for you in the future? All these results and your whole
Yeah.
experience with this.
It means that I get to step into what I'm supposed to be doing in a more honest way. It means for me that I'm finally understanding what it means to be a leader, and a mentor, and just to be myself, and that I can totally choose the kind of life I want. And it means a lot for me. It means a lot for my family. Like I teach love and relationships, so I oftentimes relate to that. And it's so cool to be in a relationship and make a lot of money. It's just the funnest thing. It's not just about the money, but it's about the power and the decision making and what you can do and how somebody responds to that and the conversations you can have. And it it feels like the sweetest thing. It feels like the sweetest thing to build my business. Um, yeah,
This way, right?
yeah.
So, what would you tell the last thing? What would you tell someone considering the Money Makeover program?
You'll make your money back, and how, and so much more. It's, I mean, it's so deep. The energy of money is so deep. I really believe it's the deepest. And when you work with this, everything transforms. Your life will transform, and you'll make money, and you'll be set up for your business going forward. But your life will actually change um, for good. When you work like this deeply, your life changes forever. You won't go back.
Awesome.
Mm.
Any last thoughts? No? You're good?
I think your hair looks great. I
Oh,
don't
thank
know.
you! My second day trying this little hairdo. I'm gonna do it until I perfect it.
I
Until
like the double trouble. I think that's cute. I like that.
yeah, yeah, it's a little girly. But I'm trying again now that my hair is a little bit longer because it was too short before, so that I couldn't really do much with it. But now I'm going for it again.
It's great.
Well,
It's
thank
great.
you, thank you, and thank you for sharing everything. I know that it's going to be really amazing for everybody else considering this, and to really not know. I think we can sum up from everything that you said that not knowing what money really is, or how to even use it, or how to even see it, or how to even receive it at this level with ease and grace, that
Yeah.
it can actually start coming in a completely different way, and you don't have to feel so stressed out and like upset or angry or whatever about it, right? Or feeling anxious about it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you.